It's been 2 years since the faith in Macalania Temple have disappeared. And they say it's affecting not only the lake, but the woods as well. I'm Carl Germ, and this is the Every FNFF podcast. With me, as always,
is Curtis Ware, who is now in a very melancholy state because of this intro.
Oh, yeah, that is the why. That is the only reason why.
Yeah, Curtis also just spent like 15 minutes talking about Final Fantasy 16, so
oh my god,
I don't think it's my fault that he's melancholy this week.
Spoiler alert for a future season of the podcast. It's real good.
the final season of the podcast, actually, because that's the last one they ever made.
It's the last one.
So the end is in sight. There's a light at the end of the
I said
tunnel.
at the beginning of this season, and I'm going to say it again. After making such a morbid Final Fantasy, 17 has to be the next game to start with a musical number. You have to do it, Square.
They just need to make Final Fantasy X-2 too, and have it be more of this wonderful game.
And I'm Alex.
The best of the three.
That's right.
But yeah, we're I think we're in Macalania today,
you can't
right?
say temple anymore. You'll get canceled.
True.
So we crossed the Thunder Plains and have made it to Macalania.
Yes.
I'm just remembering where everything we did.
Well,
we're just going around the neighborhood.
I'm going to be honest
to
with
get
you.
That percentage.
I did not cross the Thunder Plains. I said, let me go back to the Celsius and then teleport down to Macalania Woods.
I did the same exact thing.
Yeah.
So we remember Macalania, whatever, from last season where we were chasing around some butterflies. God damn it. We were chasing around some butterflies. I think there were some fucking nasty enemies in there last time. I remember not loving this place.
Indeed.
Has that changed for you guys at all? How do you feel about this area now that we're revisiting it?
I am very mid on this area.
It's a whole lot of nothing.
There's a lot of nothing. There's a lot of battles.
I hated this area for reasons we'll get into, but after playing through it a second time, which we'll also get into, I don't hate it. There's something really important at the beginning of the Macalania Woods that you should be aware of, and that is the game projects it to you pretty well too, because there's one of those our favorite race on the podcast, musician. That's a really weird way to start a sentence as well.
My favorite race.
No one,
Carl's in here talking about his favorite race.
Jesus. No one isolate that and use it to blackmail me. But
that's my favorite question to ask on a date.
Our favorite species, I'll say, I guess. Musician kind of just I think beckons towards us and then walks on a fucking Mario Rainbow Road.
Yeah, indeed.
Which I think existed in 10, if I remember correctly. I just don't remember when that came into play, if it was towards the end of it or it was there right away.
That was where we were able to go and get the ultimate weapons.
I was going to say, that's the celestial weapons was in my brain when I was walking on that. I avoided that because I am following the Steam 100% guide because I am terrified to make a wrong step and lock myself out. I am so fucking scared. So I avoided that and I went all the way through this part, got real deep into it. And then I was like, yes, now to double back. So that way I can save and heal my party. And I got a fucking game over and I was like,
no.
hate this and I do not want to play this game. But if you take that little road, it takes you right to the end of the forest and right back, and you can just get to the save point really easily. So that one's kind of on me. That's my bad, I guess.
Yeah.
I got attacked by one of those Omni sphere morph
Oh,
things.
that's the motherfucker who got me. Yeah.
Yep. As soon
Sphere
as I
morph
saw
is
him,
back and better than ever.
As soon as I saw him, I was just like, I know exactly where the escape function is. So I just had everybody run away.
This game did
Poor
make
sphere
me...
morph got delocated or whatever it is. It got
Yeah. He's not over by that little tree anymore where we found Ject Sphere.
Oh yeah.
Ject Sphere.
Demon's Souls.
Demon's Souls. Ject sphere.
Where Orin says he loved you, and Titus is like, "Oh, come on."
But yeah, if you're not remembering the spheromorph or whatever the name of the boss was from Final Fantasy X, it's that like amorphous blob that would change its resistance and its like ability.
I think it's called amorphous gel in this. Is that right?
Something like that. Yeah, like when you scan it or
yeah.
whatever, which is an ability that we have unlocked since we got Gun Mage last time.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it's worth fighting right now. A friend of the show, Ninnies, did mention to me that he was able to take it down pretty easily because with Pain, he has unlocked the ability Magic Break or whatever, where you reduce the magic attack power of an enemy, and then he could actually survive some of the attacks. But the thing that sucks about it is it turns into like a fucking Looney Tunes anvil and smacks down into you, and then leaves you with one. About that. It's a fucking false swipe from Pokemon where it leaves you with 1 HP.
It's a gravity attack, right?
Oh yeah, I guess
it must be, because it is like it's not really even a percentage, it's just 1 HP left.
Yeah, it just leaves you with 1 HP.
Is the first 1 HP attack in Final Fantasy Slicer?
Perhaps.
I'll have to look that up.
Anyway, that shit sucks because then he'll also just hit you with fucking magic, which I learned the hard way when I was like, you know what, I leveled up a little bit. I kind of want to fight this thing. I got to do my due diligence for the podcast. And I started like trying to like remember how Spheromorph worked. And before I realized it, everyone was fucking dead. And I was like, oh no, I lost so much progress, which apparently on the Steam version, there's an autosave, which is really nice. It's like every screen transition, there's an autosave for you.
Yes.
That does not exist on the Switch version.
Oh,
so my hopes were,
does it not?
Yeah, it's like when I was doing the homework yesterday, I got to that point and then I was like, I'm putting it down for today. I'll take care of the rest tomorrow. Fuck it. And then Ninnies was like, no, I think there's autosave. And I was like, fuck yes, that would like make my day. But I will say, my time of getting a game over because of that bullshit actually was beneficial because I was kind of just like going through and not really strategizing. And this time around, I was like, I need to actually strategize. I know what's coming in this place, so I need to actually engage with the battle system. And there's some really good strategies you can use in this area to avoid a certain death and a long run back.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you did say in our Discord together earlier that you were excited to talk about strats in all caps.
I went from being like, fuck this game because I died and lost like an hour of progress or whatever, to being like, oh wait, no, now I get to go through this area and think about it and have fun using the kick-ass fucking dress sphere system.
Okay.
Because by now we should have I forget specifically which dress sphere or sphere. What the fuck's it called? The grid.
Dress spheres are the jobs.
Grid.
Oh, yeah. Garment grid.
The garment grid. Right. Oh, right. Because we talked about how we don't want to say garment.
Yeah, garment
grid. Yeah, but there's one that has just an auto ability on where it absorbs lightning attacks, and most of the enemies that I was running into were the gold elemental that just shoots you with lightning.
I just not even think about it.
Yeah, I just had Pain and Yuna with that on, and I had Riku with like the healing one. Oh. And I learned something else here. One of these fucking shitty enemies that you have to fight has an enemy skill that you can learn if you're a gun mage called Absorb.
Okay.
And what Absorb does is it gives you a small amount of HP, but more importantly, MP. So I just set myself up to have everyone in my party learn that so I would never be in a situation where I can't heal my way out of it.
I feel like a big dummy. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, no, because if I got through and didn't run away from, like, if I ran away from Spheromorph, I never would have even fucking tried that. But I was like, I can't leave this up to chance again. I can't get 2 game overs in a row and lose progress. I'm not a strong enough willed person to do that. So I was like, just getting creative with it. And I was like, wait, this actually fucking rules.
You did it. You figured it. This is the Gestalt.
Yeah, this is the well, we'll get to the Gestalt. I don't know if you got there yet, Alex, but holy shit.
There's also a set of enemies. Did you see the big thunder fish or whatever that
that thing
float around?
I hate that thing so much.
Zephactinus?
Oh yeah, we will be pronouncing everything 100% accurately.
Yeah.
Well.
I hate the fish in this area.
I did almost game over on them. I have a screenshot of both Riku and Pain dead and Yuna in crit, and I was like, escape.
Get
Get out of here.
It's been so much of that.
I was trying to escape because you have to hit right, and
You do, yeah.
I was button mashing so much that I accidentally cast Thundaga on Yuna.
Oh no!
I did
as
that.
I'm trying to escape.
I did that at
I
one
hit
point.
right, which goes over from the enemy column to the party column when you're doing attacks and shit.
I got into a battle
man.
in this section.
Actually, that would be a good. No, I'm just thinking about absorb now, like for future strats,
Oh yeah. Well, I was gonna say there
like
was
Flame Eater or something like that.
yeah there was a moment where like the battle configuration that we had was like Pain and Riku on one side, like one of the fish monsters or whatever in the middle, and then Yuna on the other side, like a pincer attack kind of thing. And I was trying to use absorb with Riku, and I accidentally used absorb onto Yuna and got her down to like 1 MP, and I was like, fuck. Because you need 3 MP to use absorb, and I was like, well, that sucks. Also, there's quite a few enemies that I learned the hard way that don't have any MP, so when you try to use absorb to them, you just lose 3 MP, and I was like, fuck.
Oh no, that's crazy.
Yeah, there's a ability that lets you like see their HP right after a while.
So scan, we can get scan.
Oh,
now.
scan can do that. I feel like there was one that was like an auto ability for something. I forget where I saw it, where it just displays it all the time.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, but there may be.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I would like to keep an eye out for that though, because what I was doing, I'm actually glad I'm playing on Switch though, because I was doing scan a lot and then being like, wait, what the fuck's what's the deal with this thing? How much HP does it have? Does it have any MP? What's its weakness? And I was like, oh shit, I mashed through that way too quick. And I was like, wait, I just took a screenshot of it so I can just check that out while in battle. Hell yeah.
Sometimes I do. If I'll like mash through something, I'll just like hit the Switch record button real quick.
Which will record the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, and then go back and see what I did. Yep. Yeah, so yeah, there are some pretty tough battles.
Speaking of configurations, actually, Carl just reminded me. Like, I don't know if we talked about how a thing that they added to this system is that in 10 it was just like very classic, like good guys on one side, bad guys on the other. But they actually made it so it's like very dynamic now.
Yeah.
I don't know if we actually commented on that, where like characters can kind of scoot around and kind of
I think
very
we
much like
talked about
13.
Yeah, we talked about it briefly in terms of like ATB and how the ATB system works in a more like complex way than just like wait until it's your turn and then go, and other enemies and characters have like faster bars and stuff, because it's like you also kind of have to account for distance from your character to the other. Like there's been a couple of times where like I just mash like attack with like Riku and Pain at the same time, and Pain knocks the enemy far enough away that Riku misses her attacks or something.
Yeah, does it?
Like that shit sucks. It's cool. Like it feels bad when it happens, but it's so cool that the game does that.
The opposite can kind of happen too, which is nice.
Yeah.
I did also notice the 13 style like interrupting actions can happen too.
Yes.
Really, really nice. And just I like this section went from me being like, fuck, I am not looking forward to doing the homework, to being like, oh shit, I love this system so much and I'm glad I had to learn more of it.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I mean, a lot of people do say this is like the best incarnation of the ATB system, and I am inclined to agree, I will say.
Yeah, it's really good, and it just keeps giving us new shit to play around with too. Like,
Yeah,
I find
definitely.
myself really excited anytime I get a new garment grid.
You know what? I can't believe I've been so dumb to be like, I've been just like smashing through my potions and stuff. I have like no healing items right now.
Oh yeah, I was doing the same, and then I was like, I need to get smarter about this.
Yeah, the garment grid that just gives you cure. What was I thinking? Come on.
Yeah, it's a big help, and that with
Can't believe I didn't think
absorb
of it.
is just like, oh cool, so I can just get into a battle with a weak enemy and take care of it. That's why like this section was nice, because on most of the turns, like Yuna and Pain were gaining a little bit of HP when an enemy attacked. So
Yeah. That's cool.
I also noticed when I was looking at the garment grids, they look really cool. They have like they look like trading cards almost, with like a cool like there's like a behemoth on one that's the Helios guard. Kind of looks like there's a fucking like a behemoth on it that will it contains protect magic.
It summons. Yeah.
The one that gives sleep and poison has a Marlboro on the back of it in the background. It's really cute.
Yeah, I've never really looked at these.
Yeah, I was shocked. I think Heart of Flame looks like Ifrit.
Oh, wow.
I guess Thunderspawn might be Ixion.
Oh, yeah. Ice Queen has Shiva on it.
Fuck yeah.
Oh,
So yeah,
wow.
really fucking cool, tiny little details that like I had just been mashing through and not even paying attention to or really engaging with the system. And this time around, I'm like, yo, that's actually really sick.
I think Still of the Night has a zoo on it. Yeah, it's definitely a zoo.
That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, the big giant like hairy bird that we fought in B-Side.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's kind of a first mini boss. A
Huh.
lot of little details, a lot of texture.
Yeah,
really
definitely.
Cool. Game good.
Game good. So yeah, Macalania kind of sucks as far as battles go.
We do see, like, as Carl, I think, hinted at, like, yeah, we saw the musician as we first
Yes,
enter who
yes.
walks off. And we also, I think, to the right, we do see.
He says something super ominous too. Like there's like a little cutscene where he kind of
he
just
says,
he says like the woods will soon be no more, and then he like walks up Rainbow Road and guides you to the fucking end of the woods and the way back to the save point. And I was just like, I'm not going that way.
this
Yeah,
guy's named Byra, I guess. Or
Yeah.
Byra?
and then there's
Beira. Mhm.
there's another musician off to the right where Suteki Dane happened, named Donga, and he says also the end has come faster than I thought.
Yeah,
And,
and
like-
he just fucking evaporates away, right? Like I don't think
He
it
says, I'll
turns-
be there in 2 shakes.
He
Yeah.
says I'll be there in 2 shakes and then evaporates away. And I think that we're supposed to understand that he's like psychically communicating with somebody or something. But there's no evidence of that. He just says like, the ends come faster than I thought. I'll be there in 2 shakes. And then he
it's one
disappears.
of it's one of those things where I'm just like, well, I guess this will make sense eventually, but right now I'm just like, what?
It's 10-2 has a very dreamlike quality to it. It's sometimes it doesn't make a lot of sense, I will say.
I'm guessing
sure.
they're convening somewhere, maybe. That'll
I think
be
so.
more apparent.
That's kind of what I figured as well, just because we find yet another musician, which all of this is in the 100% guide as well. They have kind of like, I would say, mostly detailed instructions on how to get there, but there's like another musician who's standing somewhere that we go and talk to. I'll see if I can pull up those screenshots as well. And
Oh yeah, he's like, this is the little this big saxophone,
Yeah, the
like,
saxophone.
cat-looking thing.
Was it Pukutak?
Pukutak, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
Pukutak.
it starts out
This
like
one speaks in rhyme.
the guide
Yeah.
starts out and it's like go east twice and then down one and you'll find Donga, and then it's like now go through the woods and halfway through you'll find the other one, and I was like, well, which way's the woods? And then I went like a different direction than the one I came from, and it was just like, now we're in the Calmlands. I was like, fuck, I don't want to be here yet. Like I was just wandering around, and biggest thing about Macalania Woods that I remembered immediately when it started happening to me from the first, from, I keep saying the first game, from Final Fantasy X. I always forget which direction I'm going because you're running around in just like a little like path, and it's like confusing and windy and stuff. And then you get into a battle and you're like, nice. And then like 2 minutes later, after you were thinking in the battle, you're just standing there and you're just like, which direction was I going?
Oh my
in?
god, yes.
I am
Same.
accidentally backtracking and getting into more battles. Fuck this place.
Same. It's not even that like big. There's not even that many like screens, and there's only one path. But it just doubles back and spirals around so many times that like
And,
you just
like,
don't know what direction you're heading.
And the minimap isn't super helpful because there'll be
No.
certain points where it's not just like, it's like you're following the path and then it ends. So you're like, oh, that's the screen transition. And then you get to that part and it switches to like a lower floor or whatever. So it's like you're still in an area and the map just completely changes and you're just like, all of the shit looks the same. I don't know which direction I'm supposed to
Yep.
go in. And I'm looking for this other musician, which is just quote unquote in the middle of the woods. What am I going to do?
And Macalania Woods is all very like one color palette too, so there's no there's no landmarks to be able to to adjust yourself with. You know what I mean? You can't
Yeah.
pick something out in the distance or anything like that. It's just all blue crystalline foliage, and that's all you get.
There's
Yeah.
no identifiable checkpoints or road markers. Like,
No,
oh yeah, this is
no.
where I was coming from. I wish the minimap did have like the little dotted line that some games do to tell you like where you've been
Yeah.
Sure.
in the last like minute. Like just kind of. But yeah, Pukutak's there, the little horn guy.
Oh me, oh my, what did you say? Don't move an inch, I'm on my way. These woods grow lonely day by day.
And disappears up the path.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and that's all we hear from them for now.
Apparently, if we go to the airship, Riku says, so if the woods fade away, does that mean whoever's living there will too? I wonder what's happening in the woods, says Payne. Yeah, it's more alluding to that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm sure that we had nothing to do with that 2 years ago when
Of course.
we destroyed
We
the
sunk
faith.
that temple.
Yeah, it's probably fine.
Shit fell.
Speaking of things that we're like responsible for as well, you may remember that Before the Lake in Final Fantasy X was one of Rin's travel agencies, right? Which was getting money because it was on the pilgrimage
path
and like
to
next to a
the-
temple.
The only place to go.
Yeah, if people would go to the temple and stop there. But now that there's not a temple, I'm sure it's doing fine. Spoilers,
probably
it's
doing
not.
great.
Yeah. It's not. So when we arrive in the area, we see a bunch of Albed who are kind of like sieging it, I guess. Like they're like standing outside.
It feels very Western.
Yeah.
They're out front. We're calling you out.
Yeah, very much so. Actually, should we talk about this first, or should we talk about the other thing first?
I guess since we're here, like this is if you're following like the 100% guide, we still have
They're
to
all in the
do
same
something
area.
else before,
Yeah.
but it's all the same general area, and doing one before the other isn't going to cause an issue as
Right,
far as I
right.
know.
Yeah. So yeah,
But yeah, there's all these Albed out front of the travel agency, and they look fucking pissed. They're speaking
Fucking
in
pissed.
Albed, so we don't have enough primers to really know exactly what they're saying, and we didn't pull up the script that already has it translated for us. But we do recognize one word that they say, which is a classic that we all forgot, which is Owaka.
Owaka. How could I ever forget?
So they're calling out Owaka, and I'm guessing where do we see him?
Oh, he's like we get another Albed primer after that, and then we see Owaka just like cartoonishly like standing behind us with like his little green backpack and shit, and he's like running, and he like stands there for a second. I think he like waves, like we can talk to him, and he says, "Shh, do Owaka a favor and pretend you never saw him," and then he just fucking runs away super fast.
Yeah. Also, I am looking. The Albed is just, where is he? Owaka, get out here! Come out! Resistance is futile.
Nice, hell yeah.
This is frustrating because I got to the end and I was like, oh, thank God I can rest up here.
Yeah, but
you
no.
can't go in.
Yeah, no, you can't go in. There's no save point.
I was like, there's going to be a save point here because I made it all the way to the end of the fucking thing, and now I'm starting the next part of the goddamn. It's like, no, you should have went the one other direction that wasn't the Calmlands, and then you would have been on the Rainbow Road back to the fucking beginning so you could save, but you didn't, you idiot. I like that. I'm looking at my an Albed language that it says like DAPD, and then the next word is comma, CUMMA, and I'm
you
like,
straight up dapped comma.
dapped comma.
Yeah, so that begins a mission, right? We walk back. Riku shouts for Owaka. We see the mission start screen.
I like that she says his whole title.
Yeah, she says Owaka the 23rd.
Owaka the 23rd, where are you?
But yeah, we get a mission time.
Follow that Owaka. Owaka is on the run from debt collectors. Go hunt him down, but stay on your toes. He's faster than the average merchant. Objective: find Owaka and corner him.
Yep. And this time we can take the like Rainbow Road back. And if you do take the little Rainbow Road back, you actually see Owaka running away on the lower path below you, which I think is like a nice little touch.
Cool. I just followed him all the way through the fucking woods.
You can also do that.
He's like hiding behind a tree at one point, and like you're running and you don't see him, and then like you lose control of like the game, and then you kind of just see him pop out and he like waves and then runs away like comically fast.
Yeah, if you take the upper route, occasionally like the screen will stop and you'll see Yuna look down, and then you see Owaka running down on the bottom path. It's cute.
Yeah, and as you're following him, you then run into a spheromorph that kills your entire fucking party. And and you're like, well, great. When's the last time I was at a save point?
Damn, YRP in the grave. Yeah, but eventually we can get back to the other end of the woods. We can take the north path at this little crossroads where the south path took us to Donga the first time. And if we go up there, there's like a little alcove, like a little what would you call it? Just like a nice little opening in the woods, right? A little clear.
Yeah, I forgot what this. It's kind of a little pit stop before we go to the Calmlands, right?
Yeah.
Or is this before or after like the little path that goes to Bavel?
This is before.
I think it's in the woods area, if I'm remembering correctly, because like there's one section of it that leads to Bavel and the Calmlands that's like you just go east immediately and then you're there, and then the other path is just through the fucking terrible woods.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I could be wrong. It's a very confusing area.
But yeah, in this little clearing though, there's a Guado there. Oh, where have all the Guado gone? There's one Guado. And they're like, wow, it sure is busy today. Keep getting people running in this way. What's going on? And you don't see anybody else immediately, so it's like, okay, Awaka's here.
The Guado might say, I was supposed to say, don't walk over there.
Yeah, I got that as well.
I like that once you walk into that area, your party like splits up so you can talk to Riku and Pain. And if you talk to Pain, she just goes, does he think that we can't see him? Because like he's like
that.
clearly in this area. But yeah, if you walk all the way to the back, Awaka makes his presence known. You know, he does like a big like entrance where he's like, haha, I'm the great traveling merchant, Awaka the 23rd or whatever.
Yeah, there's some subtle details that like allow you to kind of suss out that he's there, because this could be you've been exploring the woods. Like I had already been to this area a couple of times when just like getting lost in the woods, and when you first see the Guado, like he'll just have like regular dialogue that's just how I wish I could see Guado Salam once more before departing this world. I have resigned myself to these woods, but nothing can replace Guado Salam. Have you spoken with Lord Trommel? He is at the spring deep in the woods. And then he kind of just repeats his dialogue, but like notably when you walk into that place, it's just Yuna. You don't see Pain and Riku like break off and stand there. So it's like if you had already been there and then you see them, you're like, oh, okay, there's a new event here if you're paying attention.
I like that it's implied that both Riku and Pain had found him before you can, because we only have like the one camera angle to work with.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's a very weird room because there's more like geometry on the mini map than there is that you can actually walk in. You can like walk around behind where we can see, but there's nothing there like the first time you go. So like now it's like, oh, you go back there to that area and now you can see Awaka because he's like hiding in the tree. Right.
But yeah, he jumps down. And he kind of explains what his situation was, that he bought that travel agency from Rin. And then as soon as he bought the travel agency, we destroyed the temple. And so like just nobody's been shopping.
The housing market crashed.
The housing market crashed. And he was stuck with this with all this unliquid assets. And and all these
unliquid. I love it.
It's called ice assets.
Whatever. Anyway. But yeah, so the Albed debt collectors have come for him, right? So they're trying to arrest him, kidnap him, whatever, get their money out of him. So he asks us, he's like, hey, is there anywhere you think I could like lay low for a while? You think you might be able to help me out here? And we have the option to bring him aboard the Celsius.
Yeah.
Or you can narc on him.
Or you can call for the Albed, which don't do because then you won't get 100%.
No, yeah, exactly.
And also Awaka is kind of useful in this, I think.
Is he?
Yeah, he becomes
minorly useful compared to how he was in the last game.
Once he's on the Celsius, he becomes a very slightly cheaper shop.
Yeah, which is nuts. Like the fucking, we're finally.
He undersells barkeep by 1 gil.
Yeah, a lot of times.
Two gil for me.
Oh, 2 gil?
Yeah, it's like 98 is how much he's charging for a potion versus like 100 or whatever.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, thanks, Awaka.
Yeah, which that's great news for us because we're finally making returns off of lending him money at the beginning of Final Fantasy X when he's on the ship to Luca. That's right. We're finally seeing it come back to us, baby. 2 gil at a time. But the other thing is there's mention that his in the top right corner when you talk to him, it says like Owaka's dead, and it's like 100,000 gil or whatever. And every time we buy from him, that is then cuts
reduced
into his debt. So it's like we get shit for cheaper, very slightly, and we can help him pay off his debt so that something else can happen down the road. So I'm just like, oh, cool.
Which you will need to do.
Sorry, barkeep, you're fucking old news, dude.
Yeah.
Walmart, Owaka Mart just moved into the fucking town, and it's like Stardew Valley. We're going for the bad ending where we're just going to work for Jojo Mart instead of rebuilding the community center. Thanks, Owaka.
But you definitely need to do this before Chapter 5 or else you will lose out on 100%.
Oh my god.
So many.
So we just have to
rules.
buy a bunch of shit from him, you mean? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, that was kind of my plan anyway.
Yeah. Just make sure you do it before the end of the game.
Yeah.
One little detail I like is the camera angle that we know get added to.
That we know and love.
He's hanging out in the deck, or is it the cabin?
The cabin.
The cabin, yeah.
So we get a new camera angle when we interact with Owaka, and we get to see a close-up of a portrait of Sid.
Oh, I actually noticed that portrait a couple weeks ago, and I meant to bring it up. I think I took a screenshot of it, but I completely forgot, and I was like, yo, hell yeah.
But we get a nice close-up. It's just a picture of Sid screaming, and he has a dart stuck in his head.
I didn't even notice that. That's so good.
Legend. Sid is very dudes rock in this game.
There was a point where someone does mention Sid, and I got really excited because I misread what they said, and what I thought they're like, oh, Sid, he's like heading up some like new operation or some new outfit or something, and I thought they were like, yo, Sid looks crazy in his new outfit, and I was like, yo, we get a costume change for Sid, who already looks
Sid
goofy
outfit.
as hell. Let's
He's wearing
go.
his old outfit.
Yeah.
But alas, Sid is not wearing a new outfit. Sad.
Sad. We do not have any garment grids for him, as far as I know. Maybe in the Creature Creator, for all I fucking know.
Yeah, fair enough. So,
but there
we
is
should,
one other thing that we need to go and do in Macalania Woods, which is probably something that you've done already by this point, and the reward for it is really fucking kick-ass. But
I was gonna say
we gotta
should
track
take
down
that.
the rest of the Guado.
We should take that one Guado's advice when he said you should go see Trommel deep in the woods.
Yeah. Trauma was what? Like Seymour's dad or whatever?
He was kind of his aide.
Yeah, like his guardian.
He killed his dad, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Jiskel. Who could forget Jiskel?
Jizkel, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when you talk to any of the Guado that you see along the way, they kind of say sort of the same thing, that
they're really harshing the vibe here. Like I'm just trying to have a good game and kind of be my best pop star sphere hunter self. And as soon as I
just
enter
like,
the
we
spring,
can't
they're
go
just
to our
like,
home because we committed so many war crimes.
yeah, war crimes.
Genuinely sad. Like again, like collective punishment is never the answer. And the Guado, they're not all Seymour.
Did they have to crash in my fuck pond though?
Yeah, I have good memories here. You guys are fucking harshing the vibe of
the fuck pond. I hate you. Anyway, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
But we remember Trommel. He sounds like he always has a cold.
He does.
He's a little snivelly.
He's also, I mean, I guess all the Guado are, but I like whenever any of them talk to Yuna because he real tall. He's a
he
big, tall
looks
man.
cool as hell too. His hands big as hell. Fucking yowie.
Big as hell. His hands as big as
the
Yuna's
most
entire
yowie
torso.
hands you've seen
Since
since the last time you were reading some
got
yaoi.
yowie hands.
Did you say? I don't know if you saw that tweet that I posted, Curtis. Great podcasting is talking about a post I made. I know. But, when I was playing Super Mario Wonder, sometimes when you die, I think that the characters say yowie. So it was just Daisy dying and saying yowie, like youch kind of thing. And I was just like, hey, Daisy, what did you say your favorite type of manga is? Yowie. Anyway, yeah, so should we...
Daisy would have been super into Trommel, that's all I'm saying.
Who isn't? But should we cut in his dialogue because the voice acting is really good?
In a nutshell, he's basically kind of apologizing and kind of like just being a big...
downer.
A big bummer.
Oh, High Summoner Yuna, forgive me for the grief I have caused you.
How have you been?
Well, with Lord Seymour gone, we Guado are hardly different from the dead.
Yeah, he's kind of like you were saying, taking the guilt of all the Guado or whatever, like a collective guilt, and being like,
I don't know if I missed something that Yuna said after that, but if not, like I might have missed her saying like "oh" or something, and then like the next.
She's like, "Oh, how have you been?"
Just immediately, he's like, "Oh, I've caused you so much grief," and she's just like, "How have you been?" Which is her line when she runs into anyone from Final Fantasy X. I'm gonna start calling it Final Fantasy X-1. When she runs into anyone from Final Fantasy X-1, her first thing is just like, "Oh, how are you doing?" Fucking Joey Tribbiani over here.
Yeah, he's very much spilling his heart out and like has all this grief that he's trying to get off his chest.
He's like, you should fucking crucify
Yo, what
me
up?
because of the crimes I committed, not against just you, but Spira at large.
And then Yuna says, yo, what up?
Yo, what up?
Yo, that's crazy.
Sup, dude.
Yeah. Yuna says, Then Yuna says, "Wow, super happy for you," or "Sorry that happened." Either way, I ain't reading all that.
Yuna's just looking at her fucking phone as he's talking. But he's like, yeah, with Lord Seymour gone, we Guado are hardly different from the dead. Many Ronzo lost their lives at the hands of Lord Seymour. Those who survived swore vengeance for their fallen comrades. We Guado sealed ourselves away in Guado Salam and strengthened our defenses. But soon we no longer had the strength for even this. Now we live among the shadows of these woods.
And Yuna's like, oh, trauma.
Yeah. Buddy.
No, don't seal yourself in the woods. You're so sexy.
I guess you can talk to Riku or Pain at this point in between. And Riku's like, sounds like a sticky situation.
Yeah.
Well, it's none of our business. It's
I like that Pain is just like, none of my business. You whatever.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I don't know who this is.
Yeah, I wasn't around for the events of FF10-1. Sorry.
This grandpa seems kind of sad, but I'm not going to ask any more about it because I kind of get the vibe that he might be in the wrong.
But yeah, so we have to talk to him 3 times, France, right?
3 or 4.
It's like 3
it's
or
a
4,
lot.
I think. Yeah. Every listener, just talk to him 3 times and then walk away.
Yeah.
No, talk to him until he's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like games that don't give you an indication that you should keep talking to someone.
I know. I don't mind it so much. I just wish it wasn't so fucking crucial.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you were just missing out on a little bit of lore when you didn't, like, go back for talking to somebody, like, all right, that's one thing.
Yeah.
You get some cool
It's like, you pull up a Vadi video and you're like, shit, I only hit the button 3 times instead of 4 and I missed this
exactly
cool lore lit or something. And it's like, no, you just fucking don't get the good game now.
Yeah. But if instead you miss out on Pain's G Gundam or whatever, like,
oh yeah, that's right. Holy shit. Yeah. I forgot about that aspect of it too. I'm just thinking 100%.
Oh, we have to talk to him for a 4th time. I'm sorry.
Yeah. High Summoner, do not trouble yourself to show sympathy for the Guado. We once walked willingly with Lord Seymour, never questioning, even as he led all of Spirit into madness. Again, like, yeah, like, that's fucked up of you guys, but, like, also, like, you were kind of in an impossible position, so, like,
yeah.
Maybe just make right what was made wrong, first of all. Anyway.
I love after the 3rd time you talk to him, because the first 3 times are all about, like, this, like, the Guado's history of, like, their what do you call it? Not compliance. Their
complacence.
What is it when you do a crime with somebody but you didn't actually do the crime?
Accomplice.
It doesn't matter.
An
appliance. Accessory to a crime.
You were
basically
Tobley's ass. I think you're Tobley's ass.
But yeah, they're guilty about being an accessory to Seymour's plans, right, and his plot,
right?
Which I think, as we talked about at the end of FF10. No one would know about that.
Yeah,
we were talking about. We were just like not sure how much of the stuff that we saw was like public information.
I guess he killed all the Ronso.
He didn't kill all the Ronso.
Well, okay, yeah, but
no,
anyway.
he did. We do get confirmation here that, like, because that was my question last time. Because Seymour's like, "Yo, remember those Ronso guys that you guys liked a lot? I fucking killed them all." And then, like, in the next scene, we're like hanging out with a bunch of them. And I was like, oh, I'm glad that didn't happen. And it makes sense that Seymour would lie about that thing because he's a fucking asshole. But I was, like, confused about the wording and stuff. But we do get more confirmation here. Like, no, Seymour killed a fuck ton of Ronso.
Yes.
Seymour Flux, specifically.
Yeah, indeed. But then we poisoned him, and then every turn he went, like that. But after the 3rd time you talk to him, he, like, vibe shifts entirely, because he's like very slow and it's very sad, it's very somber sounding. And then when you talk to him the 4th time, he's like, "Hey, Yuna, what are you doing here? Hey, how's it going? What have you been up to?
You son of a bitch."
It's got the cadence of like,
you son of a bitch.
It almost feels like we should have, like, it would have made a sense if we, like, came here earlier and talked to him and got all that dialogue, and then he was just down and crestfallen.
And then we came back.
And then we came back hours later, and then he's like, "Oh, this is my," but it's like the order that we did it in. He literally is just like, "Lady Yuna, I could never ask you to forgive us. The only thing I can ask you is to forget us." Ah, Yuna, you son of a bitch! How are you doing? What are you up to? What brings you to my little corner of the woods?
But enough about me.
You like spheres? Yo, I got a fucking sphere for you. Here you go.
Yeah, that's basically how it goes.
He's like a grandma, like puts it in his hand and like shakes Yuna's hand so that she doesn't know that he's giving it to her, and then he like runs away. It's like, damn it.
But yeah, he does ask Yuna what she's been up to, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sphere hunting," and he's like, "Oh, I got a sphere right here," and so he just gives us a sphere, which is a crazy sphere and a new type of sphere.
There's an important detail that we skipped over where she tells him that she's a sphere hunter, and he says, a sphere hunter? And Riku says, we hunt spheres. And he goes, you don't say. Here's a sphere. Like,
Look, writing dialogue is hard.
Like a fucking like contract where she's like, I need to be given this X amount of lines, and they're just like, sure, well, here you go.
Writing dialogue is difficult. I get it.
We're sphere hunters. We hunt spheres.
But
Mono
it
is one, and rail means rail.
But it's a different kind of sphere, right? Like this is not
This is Payne's special dress sphere called Full Throttle.
Dude,
special dress spheres. New
Full
mechanic
Throttle.
added to the game.
Alex, did you happen to use Full Throttle?
No, because
Holy
I think
shit.
I know there's a grid we get also. We get a
He also gives it to us.
A garment grid.
right here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he gives us a garment grid called Unerring Path.
Because in order to use a special dress sphere, you have to have used all the dress spheres on a grid in one battle. Is that how it works?
Yeah,
That's right.
after we get it, it actually tells us special dress spheres. After changing to all of the dress spheres on a character's active garment grid, call up the garment grid with L and then press R to activate the special dress sphere. So that, is kind of a difficult thing because at this point, like, I think the smallest amount that we could have is like 3. So that's a lot of shifting throughout the battle, like change 3 times, watch the animation 3 times maybe.
I guess you shift it 2 because if we have 3 spheres on it.
Yeah.
The one that's like a circle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But the one he gives us is just 2 slots, and it's just like you have to change it once and you're done.
The unerring path, yeah.
Yeah.
So you just have to start in one thing, change to a different, and then you can immediately activate Full Throttle with Pain. Which, do you guys want to talk about that right now? Or
I would love to
guys,
talk
I guess
about Full
Curtis?
Throttle.
Let's talk about it because I missed it.
I at this point I was just like, this is the best fucking Final Fantasy game I've ever played. Like, Alex, it's basically her gestalt, and her gestalt is basically like an Ava unit that is made out of swords and has
Made out of
like
fucking
it's like
swords.
a Gundam made out of fucking swords, and it also has like ethereal swords that are just encircling around her and spinning around, and it's so fucking cool.
It's badass.
She turns into a fucking Capri Sun drinker in the 90s commercials. She turns into Alex Mack.
Oh, yeah. It looks like it's a Gundam combined with like a freaking Iron Maiden. Where
Yeah.
The silhouette kind of reminds me a bit of Vanille's with all the arms and shit, except they're just swords.
Very, very
Yeah.
much.
And the long, like, blade, like, insect-like legs and
Was
shit.
that
It's super
Hecaton?
cool. Hecaton, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how the fuck I remember
Hecaton
that. I
Share.
couldn't spell it, but I
She says
remembered how-
Hecaton, but
She
Hecaton
does
Share
say, yeah.
Yeah.
is the full name.
This one is a lot less concerning of an animation when it's done, though,
That's fair.
than Vanille's.
That's cool as hell. Oh, yeah, everyone gets a fucking idol and
Yeah, everybody
It's
gets like a
really-
summon dress sphere.
in
It's
this
pretty
game.
cool.
Really, really cool. And it works the same way as a summon, where before, Yuna would go to summon something and everyone else in the party would run away. Or I guess if one of the
Yeah,
party
yeah.
members is knocked out, they're just laying there as like fucking anima is just coming out from hell and like. But yeah, this shit rocks. It's really cool. And then you still have a party of 3 with Pain.
You
where
do.
Pain is the main one. And then there's the dextral wing and the sinistral wing, which I don't know what those words mean. I am not a smart man. But they have different abilities that you can do, like Venom Wing or Blind Wing, which basically, like, Venom Wing will inflict damage and poison the enemy. Blind will obviously blind them. Or cast darkness or whatever. Lazy Wing does sleep, and Mute Wing does silence, which is really cool. And then
Did you read the name of Pain's moves during the transformation? Because they're crazy.
Stamina and metal, or is that a different thing?
So the game like throws a lot at you at once without explaining it when you use a special dress sphere for the first time, because your character, like whether it's Yunariku or Pain, will have multiple abilities with multiple sub-menus in those abilities that you've never seen before. And then the other 2 things that you have also have abilities with multiple sub-menu abilities, right? And so like you just have a shit ton to pick from. So you're playing as Pain, and you're like, okay, well, let's see what Pain's moves are. And then they're titled shit like Aestus, Levin, and Wellman. And I'm like, what is anything? Like, this is stupid.
My favorite law firm.
Yeah, Aestus, Levin, and Wellman Associates.
Yeah.
But they just do elemental damage to enemies, is what those are. They're just kind of like, oh, attack with fire elemental or whatever.
Yeah, pretty sick.
Yeah. But there's a lot to play with, a lot to choose on those.
Yeah, at this point I was like,
dressers.
they fucking fully pulled me back in. This shit rocks. This shit's so good. Give me as many battles as I can get. I noticed something interesting, which I'm with like Riku, I was leveling up Scan, because you can always go into the abilities, like I said, like in Final Fantasy VIII, and you can choose where your AP goes, so you can get better abilities sooner. If you want to. And we already have Scan unlocked, and you can get Scan level 2, which I got, but I didn't figure out how to use it. I think I got to play around with that more, but it's basically like, I think you can cycle between, like, scan an entire party versus just scanning one enemy each time in level 2. Level 3 is really interesting to me, and I'm excited to try it out, which it allows the user, it takes 100 AP as well, so it's kind of an experience sink, but it allows the user to target party members with Scan. So I want to read the little blurbs about like Pain and Yuna.
That would be cool.
I'm wondering if that's like an addition for the creature creator as well.
Ooh, yeah.
Because it doesn't seem like it has that much worth from what I can tell, knowing nothing about it so far.
Yeah.
But I could see it being a little more worthwhile when you have like the creature creator. I don't know.
I would like to talk about creature creator a little bit here in a minute.
Okay.
Here in a minute.
I've done none of it so far, and I
did a little bit of
the
it.
email that that we got sent yet.
I did a little bit of it. There's something kind of neat in there.
Oh, nice.
So
take it away.
Yeah. So that gives us that extra dress sphere, and as far as like 100% is concerned, we're done with Macalania Woods, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Donezo. Get out of here. Okay, so from here we have a couple options, because obviously Macalania Woods is attached to places like Bevel and the Calmlands.
Luckily, with Bevel, there's a good signal that you're not just going to walk into Bevel. There's not that for the Calmlands, but there's 2 guards standing outside of there, and they're like, we're standing on guard to Bevel. And you're like, oh, okay, I won't go that direction yet.
But I chose to get back on the Celsius and instead head to Beaconell Desert, right?
Yes.
Which is the next place on the walkthrough if you're following the Steam
Next
guide.
place on our itinerary.
Now, I didn't just go there next. I took a little time to stay aboard the Celsius and do some creature creator stuff, right?
Do tell.
So, part of the creature creator is the tournaments that are inside of it. There's an option to do a tournament for creature creator, right?
The dark tournament.
Hilariously, it just lets you enter Yuna, Riku, and Pain. So you don't actually have to interface with the creature creator to do these special fights. It's basically like, hey, here's some Pokemon battles. Train your fiends against other fiends and see whose fiends are best. But you don't have to do fiends. You can just put Yuna, Riku, and Pain in. So I was like, well, I'm just going to do that because I don't feel like fucking catching all these Mons. That's stupid. But yeah, so there's different like cups, right? There's like the standard cup, and if you beat that, you get to go to the next one.
The Yoshi cup, the Daisy
the
cup.
Rainbow, right. I forget which one Baby Park is in, but that's the best one.
The best one.
That's right. 99 laps.
200cc.
The standard cup, though, is one that you can beat pretty early. Like I would say if you're like level 10 to 12, somewhere in there, like you got a shot at winning it. And it's kind of tough. I did lose once on the final match. But if you win, you get the other dress sphere that was added to the international version. What?
Oh.
Called Psychic.
Ooh.
And so I now have
Whoa,
the Psychic
that's the best
job.
Pokemon type.
Yeah,
That's the one that
Engine 1
Sabrina
especially.
uses.
That's right. You get an Alakazam, you can just roll the rest of the game.
Hell yeah. Easy mode.
That's right. And Psychic is fucking wild. It's awesome. Like the characters like just float in the air like for their battle stance. And so like Riku has an awesome stance where she has like one arm out and one arm directly behind her, and she's just like man spreading her legs forward
She's doing
and
the
just
pot
like
friend
looking at
pose.
the enemy.
She's pot friending IRL.
It's kind of badass. I like it a lot. But the cool thing about psychic is you don't like a gunner and other things. You don't move to the enemy to do the attack, so you can never be interrupted, and your attack is always instantaneous because they just wave their hands and then just damage happens. It's awesome. There's no like weapon. They just and then
Does
numbers
that
fly
negate
up.
like ground type moves like float?
Yeah,
They
it
look
can't be
so
quaked
silly.
upon.
They look like fucking X-Men with like.
I need to look these up.
It's wild. Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking rad as hell.
Yeah.
Got their like their cool cybernetic like they're like cyber psychics. They're super cool.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's a weird design, but I like it a
Yeah,
lot.
Yuna's outfit almost looks like fucking Bloodborne. Bloodborne on top, Yu-Gi-Oh on the bottom.
Riku's got kind of she's always got a show leg, but yeah, she's got kind of a everyone's wearing like frilly outfits. It's interesting. Except for Pain, who's like wearing like looks like a scientist or something.
Pain is wearing an outfit that she has to wear when she's working at the Audi dealership, it looks like, because the fucking Audi logo
Oh,
is
she
just on the
does. She has
sides
like
of
the
her-
Audi logo on the side. That's so funny. That's so good. But yeah, that's just a free dress sphere we can get right now that I totally forgot about.
Yo, that's super fucking sick.
Yeah. It's got some cool like little skills to go with it. I mean, obviously it's like an additional one, so it's nothing too like central to how the game is played. You know what I mean? It's something like black mage or white mage or something like pivotal that you're going to need the entire game. But it's pretty good attack and pretty like it has pretty good stats. The fact that all the attacks are instantaneous, I like. And there's a move just called teleport, where the description is teleports behind an enemy. And I said nothing personal, kid. So that's a good gag. Yeah, psychic. How about that?
Damn, that's cool as hell. I gotta get that.
How about them apples?
This game's weird.
It's also got various like elemental eater abilities. So if you max out the psychic, you can just kind of like heal off of a lot of different elements, which is cool.
Yo, that's sick.
Yeah.
Again, that would have been really helpful in Makalani. I assume.
Indeed.
Oh, that's like you need that to. You probably need to like pass through certain things in order to get the abilities there. On the
Probably. I haven't really dug too deep into it yet.
yeah, some of the garment grids will have like a default just automatic passive ability, and then as you move along the grid itself, that's when you get stronger versions of it, like more of the elemental eaters or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, I've only been able to use it in Beaconell Desert thus far. So
Nice. Yeah, the enemies in Beaconell are much easier. But
Yes.
I guess since we just got our asses kicked in Makalani, should we take a quick break on the in the cabin, fucking kick it with a waka, grab a couple of drinks?
Definitely actually do go talk to Iwaka because he does have
Need that for
dialogue.
100%, yeah.
You need that for 100%. God damn it.
I know we mentioned Ice Queen before. Did we mention that we get that from Iwaka when we find him? I can't remember.
I don't think that we did, but
That is where we get the garment grid
Indeed.
Ice Queen, which has Shiva on the icon for it.
indeed.
I thought you were going to say Shiva as like an ability. Like, what?
No, yeah, you can turn into Shiva.
We sent his ass. Her ass.
It's ass because it's a god.
their ass.
They are ass. All right.
See you in the dessert.
All righty. A lot of the old Final Fantasies that we did, like even the like ones that might have been seen as more difficult, like Final Fantasy 2, I would have to stop myself from playing ahead because I'd be like, I'm in the zone, having a
In
great
the
time,
flow.
like ready to go. And then Final Fantasy 10 too, it's true that like because I'm trying to get the 100%, I am so ready to be done with the homework every time. I'm just like, and I don't want to like jump into it because it's such an issue.
It's like, I don't
'Cause,
think
like,
of any other way to cover this, I guess, without like.
This is.
having to-
I think
Yeah,
this is.
yeah,
It's weird because I am very
I'm sure
much.
the plot will pick up after a while once we've kind of like hopped around
Yes,
the map enough
yes.
times. Like, okay, now we got some plot moving ahead. Now we actually have context, and so next time we come back here, it won't be like, and then nothing happens or whatever.
For me,
There'll probably be less of that, I bet.
The way I like to play video games is without a guide and just kind of stumble through blindly, like my first time, and organically like experience it as much as I can. And I don't think that's a good way to play this game, and that's kind of a bummer to me. And like it's a good way to play with a guide open, which is so like counterintuitive to me. So it's like it's not a huge detriment, I would say, but it's not a benefit at all. So I don't know where I land on it. I'm fine with it. I'm okay with it. I'm like, this is not the way that I would want this game to be designed, but it's fun enough and I'm having a good enough time with all the cool shit in it that I'm okay with it. Because like you were saying, Curtis, you're like maybe playing like if you're not going for 100%, that might be the way to go. It's like, but there's also a lot of shit that you would miss. Like when I first started playing this, the first place I went to was Besaid. I've already done the Besaid stuff on my like PlayStation version of it, and then immediately locked myself out of 100% just by missing one stupid thing. And then also was like, oh, like we haven't even talked about Besaid really that much yet, and I'm just like, oh, okay, that's not the first area that you go. It makes sense in my head that it would be the first place that you go, and it's like cool what goes on there, but like it's not a very, I think it's open in a way that I don't really like.
Well,
going through this way, I am enjoying it a whole lot.
Let me make you feel a little bit better about it then, and by better I mean worse. Because speaking of having guides open, if you want to get the 100%, right, this is the last episode of the podcast that you'll be able to have a guide open, because from now on you'll need 2 guides open.
Nice, exactly. I'm so glad I talked about how it's not the way I like to play games. But here's the thing too. I've had enough fun with this game and this system and like these characters and this silly story and shit that I'm like, I'm okay with it. I'm just like, okay, I'll open it.
It almost offsets it. It almost offsets it. That it's like, it's worth it.
Yeah, it's again not the way that I would design a game as a fucking armchair game designer here. Not the way that I would choose to do it, but it's fine. I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna play
it. But anyway, Beacon L. Anybody?
Beacon L.
How you feel about the desert?
I love that place.
Love it.
Sorry, I was doing like a weird chant. There's like a local radio or a local radio ad if you're in like Western Massachusetts called Butternut.
But you know we are.
It's just like the whole ski ad is just butternut.
Oh
with
my God,
with his whispering ski fresh.
I hear those things are awfully loud. Butternut. That's amazing. I have such a soft spot for like weird local TV commercials and stuff. Like there was a bunch when I was growing up that I've looked everywhere for because it's burned into my brain because it played on Nickelodeon all the time for like a little hamburger place in Delco called Zach's Hamburgers. And I can't find it anywhere. I think it's just lost media, honestly, which is a bummer. Man. It's like maybe we have a VHS tape somewhere in one of my siblings' possessions now that has like an episode of Dragon Ball Z that I was taping or something that might have the commercial on there, but like that's the only hope that we have of it. Where
we gotta find it. Gotta find it and upload it to YouTube.
It's just like 2 guys playing golf and they're just like putting, and it's just like the shittiest quality, even for the time, like the shittiest camera quality you can imagine. And the guy just goes, "Hey Pete, what we playing for?" Playing for Zach's Burgers, of course. And the guy has like a cartoon bubble appear above his head, really poorly edited in, and it has like a shitty clip art version of like fries, a shake, and a burger. And he goes, "Ooh, Zach's," and then it plays this fucking ridiculous like circus music that's like, and it's like the dude just nailing fucking putts and stuff, and he's like, "Oh man, I get a fucking $10 meal for free from my dipshit friend." And like I just think about this commercial all the time because I saw it so many times that I can't find it anywhere, and it's driving me crazy.
Oh man. Yeah, you have an obligation to the world to find those VHS tapes and upload it to YouTube
for the chance of it. It's true.
Yeah.
Just hit up Zach's. I'm sure they have it.
I thought about it, and they would probably be like, "Shut up, dork," and fucking slam the door on me. Like most experiences that I had in Delco.
What is that other? There's another like southern place called Toots that also has a really good like old. that has a toots. You love toots. Anyway, we're not having food or going to local restaurants. We are getting dropped off in the desert.
Quite the opposite.
Yeah.
If you've heard of food deserts, this is an actual desert. This is Beacon Hill.
I was about to say, why didn't Buddy just drop us off or whatever at where the camp is, but we don't know where the camp is, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So
there are a couple questions to be had here.
It gets established, luckily, but yeah,
it does.
Our mission here that we can see from the Celsius is part-time diggers. With Gippel's letter, we're ready to help them excavate that desert. Hold it high and proud.
The big dig.
I think the thing is, like,
dig indeed.
So we are in fact looking for a desert camp in which to do our excavating, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, yeah, there is like the fact that, they don't know, Buddy wouldn't know where the camp is because of reasons we'll get into. That being said, why would he just drop us down then if he didn't know where the camp was? He's like, I don't know where that shit is. Fuck
just
you.
Fly around.
Two fucking episodes ago when we were like in a place that was mostly fine, wasn't Brother like, oh my God, are you okay? Calling us every 3 fucking minutes. Hey, you all right, Yuna? Yuna, are you okay? Hey,
Yeah,
Yuna. And now they're just like, you're fine. Just go into the fucking oppressive desert that, like,
listen,
used
boys'
to have...
night on the Celsius.
It's true, yeah. And yeah, fucking Owaka's there. Fucking, what's his name?
Glasgow, yeah.
Glasgow's there. Barkeep. Everyone's getting fucking hammered.
God, could you imagine being like...
Brother also totally seems like the type of guy to do a little boozing and cruising, if you know what I mean.
Could you imagine being like Buddy in that situation? You're like the only semi-normal one. Like, you're dealing with Brother, Glasgow, Owaka, and Barkeep. I guess Barkeep's probably fine, but like...
Yeah, Barkeep's cool as hell.
Barkeep seems cool as hell.
Take fucking
but
Barkeep's
the other three,
name out your mouth,
my gosh.
dude.
No,
Don't you speak about Barkeep that way.
But we get dropped in the desert, and everything is real fucking foggy, I'm guessing, because there's like a storm or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
a haze over the entire screen.
Yeah, there's like a sandstorm. Yeah.
A Darude, as they call it. We do get a little bit of backstory about Beacon L, which I thought was cool. Yuna's narrator voice says, Beacon L, this is where the Albed's beloved home stood until 2 years ago. And we kind of see some like wreckage and stuff as we remember what happened with home last
Big happy fireworks.
In the last game. Yeah, the big happy fireworks. Says, most have moved on, but a handful of Albed still live there today. They say countless Machina lie buried under the desert sands. Oh wait, that's not the lore part that I was talking about. The lore part is basically that there was an ancient war that happened that turned the entire island into a desert.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is in this conversation that Yuna's having though. But Riku luckily steps up as
she knows the way.
Our Albed, the Albed in the party, and she says, "Leave the trailblazing to me." And she's like all excited, and they all run off. And then Riku says, concerningly, I don't think that sand dune used to be there.
Typical.
And then we get some gameplay where Riku's kind of just like running ahead of us a little bit, and we're running around. We can get into random encounters. Cool looking enemies like a killer hound, which can it's a pretty easy enemy to deal with, but it does have a move called Killer Fang, which can just KO you in one hit.
There is also the Hermithurs, which is similar to the Wendigo, I guess.
Yeah. I looked at that name and I was like, I will not be attempting to pronounce that. There's too many consonants next to each other.
Hermithurs.
An interesting thing that happens here, that is a very minor thing, but I guess like we're supposed to be following Riku as she walks out into the horizon. We're supposed to be like holding forward and chasing after her. If you're holding forward and you get into a battle, and as you're exiting the battle, you begin to hold forward again, you'll walk backwards.
I noticed that.
Oh, weird. I didn't notice that.
Very odd. Like, incredibly minor thing. It doesn't really matter, but I was just like, what the fuck? Because like every time we get to a battle.
I noticed something else with that, which is I think the way that you have to make progress is you get to a certain screen where you're running after Riku, and it just looks like you're just like running in like in place, basically, like both you and Riku. And I think what's supposed to be happening is she's supposed to be getting further and further ahead of you, and you're not. But I was on the same fucking pace as her, and just like running, and I was like looking at like the environment around me. I'm like, are we moving at all? What the fuck is happening? And I was doing that for like a solid minute, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. And then I stopped, and Riku continued running, and then like a cutscene started, and I was like, oh,
okay.
I think they just meant to have her go slightly faster so she outpaces you no matter what. And I was just like locked into the same pace.
Interesting. Okay. Makes sense.
Oh, we also have a familiar enemy here, the Fly Eye, which I think we might have already seen one of these before, right? Or like a different variant of it, the Ari Man, or the the classic like big eye from Final Fantasy.
Yeah, Mike Wazowski.
Yeah. A one-eyed aerial fiend. It can inflict slow in the blink of an eye and drive you absolutely batty. The scan stuff is actually really good. I really like all the scan little blurbs that I've been finding.
But yeah, eventually we kind of trigger a cutscene like very much of us just trudging through the desert.
Yeah.
Cameras giving us a wide angle where we are marooned out here.
Yeah, we are. So we are gonna die if Buddy and Brother do not pick up that fucking phone.
Maybe the storm has like interfered with like communications or something.
Could be.
But we get a cool little like flying machina has spotted us as our party collapses.
Yeah.
And the flying machina has a name in this scene too.
Picket.
Yeah.
Picket.
Nice. And it says in Albed, Greenhorns Noctuk B5. But it says Greenhorns in region B5, which I'm guessing maybe is like code name for some like outliers I'm maybe not associated with. Or
Greenhorn is like a
yeah, Greenhorn is like someone who's green in like a military sense, is like, a newbie. A fucking noob.
It just means newbie.
Yeah. It means that they're not elite. They are not 1337. They're not in region B1337, I can tell you that much.
Not real gamers.
But we see some Albed in their cool masks kind of show up, and it's like very
dreamy, blurry.
Yeah, exactly.
We are very dehydrated. Everyone take a sip of water.
Everybody take a sip. Hydrate, redeem.
But we make it out, and I guess we come to at a camp, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
I think there are ruins, and then there's like hovercrafts around and stuff like that.
Yeah. The camp had to be moved because of a sandstorm. So I guess Buddy thought he dropped this down at the right place, didn't check, and then we were stranded out in the desert because the camp had been moved because of this sandstorm. But we're there now.
Yeah.
So.
And there's a treasure chest that we can see right here, and we run up to that all excited, see what kind of cool item we're gonna get, and we interact with it, and it just says it's locked.
It's a locked treasure chest.
Surely that it's the one that it's an artifact from fucking Luca in the first game in Final Fantasy X-1, where we just never get to open it, and that still makes me so mad.
Is this the same guy that you were talking to back in the enlistment room? Because there's like the guy that looks like the pain is running around.
Oh yeah, maybe.
And you talk to him. He says stuff like this always happens. I found this treasure chest in the central expanse. See, but I dropped that blasted key. I'm in for another scolding from Nadala.
Huh. There's
also there is a merchant here near the save sphere, I think. But fuck this guy. He's fucking price gouging like crazy. Like he's in the middle of the desert and he's charging 50 gil for a potion. I got to hook up with a Waka. He's selling that shit for 48, dude. Fuck this guy. I'm not buying this shit. He does sell a fiery gleam.
Import taxes.
Yeah, exactly. No, I thought that was going to be a thing. I'm like, there's no way that this is going to be like the regular price, because games love to do the shit where it's like, oh, you're in an area far away and you're gonna have to pay more. Like, no, it's actually cool that it's just the regular prices. He sells a fiery
not, like,
gleam.
Split currencies and the shit.
What is fiery gleam?
Wait, split currencies? You said, Alex?
I mean, yeah, like what if like the new Yevon and the
machine deal imagine if there was a type of currency that existed in this game where there's two different ones.
Oh, interesting.
Imagine if it was. Oh, I can't remember. What are the two? I was going to make a joke about Fallout New Vegas, and then all of our New Vegas heads were going to be like, "What a good joke!" He named the two currencies
Caps,
from New Vegas.
There's like Old Republic money. Or
there's
something.
old money. There's caps, but then there's Denari and
Caesars have their own thing.
Yeah, that's the Caesar's Legion, and then there's the New Republic has some money. Anyway, whatever. Insert joke here.
I was making
found.
a joke about the Calmlands literally has that. They have two different fucking factions.
Oh,
that have two different
yeah.
points that Payne and Riku are both talking about. They're like, I have 100 silly bucks and I have 100 Chuck E. Cheese tokens. Fiery Gleam.
Dave and Buster now have separate stores across from each other,
Yo,
but share the same.
Yeah.
I think I've probably talked about Round 1 on the podcast before, the cool Japanese arcade that I love. There's two different ones kind of like within the same distance from where we live. But they have different fucking swipe cards and they're not the same.
Really?
Like we can't interchange them. It's like we had to buy new like currency
so
at the
weird.
fucking one. I was pissed. Anyway,
It's a
that doesn't
franchise.
matter. Yeah, the Fiery Gleam adds fire element to attacks and skills, which is pretty interesting. But it costs
Okay,
3,000
that's cool.
gil, which I do not have that, so I didn't buy it.
I need that to pay off Awaka's debt.
Yeah, I need to help my homie Owaka out.
That's right.
I think that's something that Riku says when you bring Owaka onto the ship. She's like, "Oh, we should go and buy something from Owaka to help him out." I'm like, "What a homie! What a good way of looking at it."
But yeah, at the moment, the lady who we need to talk to, Nadala, the forewoman, she is not on site. So we do have to go around and talk to all the NPCs before she'll actually like arrive back on site.
Yeah, not my favorite kind of game design thing. Again, as the armchair game developer here, where it's just like, oh yeah, you
Right,
can't make
right.
progress. Go talk to everyone who says nothing, and then when you talk to the correct person, the flag is checked, and now you can now Nadala can come back.
Yeah. But she does come back. She at first is kind of like, who the hell are you? Like, don't waste my time. I'm busy.
She looks like Pris from Blade Runner.
Oh, I love her outfit. I actually love her
Yeah,
design.
she looks cool as hell.
She does look cool as hell. But we show her Gipple's letter, the letter of introduction that we got from Gipple back in Jose Temple. And she's like, oh, okay, you're the new recruits. Okay, you're going to be doing excavating and stuff. Okay. So she says she's going to put us to work. She shows us the area where we're going, which I think is the Western Expanse at first.
Yeah, Western Expanse. They're you can talk to one of the other like people there, and they'll say that they're surveying the Western Expanse, the Southern Expanse, and the Central Expanse.
Right.
And the Western Expanse is a relatively safe region, which is like it made it for the natural choice for them to set up the base camp, and it's also an excellent spot for like greenhorns.
Gotcha.
That's us.
Yeah, the Southern
Yeah.
Expanse contains the Oasis, and it's not is not a particularly dangerous region. Right now, sandstorms prevent digging in that area. I will tell you more about the Oasis some other time. Or the Central Expanse is so enormous that it is beyond our ability to manage at the moment. It is possible to get the dig site by hover, but doing all the digging from a hover just wouldn't work. We need something that handles better than a hover to ride while doing the actual digging. But what?
Well, we just got that dress sphere for pain. Maybe we can like
Yeah, we'll just put
Gundam a bunch
her
of
in
people out
fucking
there.
Hecaton, and then we'll do all the digging
Yeah.
that we can. And then it
There you
becomes
go.
like the Knuckles mini game in Sonic Adventure 2. Where you just dig for
we're gonna
crystals or
find that
whatever.
emerald.
Yeah. The flying freak Knuckles on Pumpkin Hill, baby.
Yeah, that's right. But Nautil is like, all right, I'm going to send you out to the Western Expanse. And we get an overhead shot of where the Western Expanse is. And
I
Riku's
love the
like, oh
zoom
my
out.
God, that's so far away. And she goes, don't worry about it. We're going to send you out there by hover. And then you can get off the hover and go like actually dig stuff up.
Yeah.
And so we do so.
We get a mission, right?
Yeah. Actually,
It's called Can You Dig It?
Can
really
You
good.
Dig
I
It?
love that.
Dig up the Machina parts that Nadala asks you to find in the desert and transport them safely to camp. Objective, dig up and deliver the needed parts.
Oh, and I guess one last thing before we go out there. We are introduced to our assistant, which is that flying scanner bot named Pickett.
Yeah.
And it's,
Classic
I forget,
Pickett.
what does it say? It's like, yo, what's up, baby? Or whatever,
Yeah,
something
no,
like
he
that.
says, let me introduce you to your partner. Got a bit of a mouth on him, so try and be patient. And then Pickett flies in, and he just says, hey, sweet cakes, nice to meet you.
Sweet
It's like,
cakes.
all
That's
right,
it, yeah.
Did we need the fucking misogynistic fucking fuckboy robot here? Like, come on.
Yes, we did.
And the answer
I miss
is
Gipple.
yes.
But we get entered into like what I actually don't think is a very bad mini game. It's a little chocobo
It's fun. I
hot
liked
cold
this.
coated, but I
I
like
like
it.
this. This is pretty fun.
Yeah, so we're basically taken out to an area of the desert, and our mini map shows various X's of different colors. There's like white X's and yellow X's, right?
Marks the spot.
Yeah, those represent treasures buried under the sand. So all you have to do is walk up to them, press the X button or A button or whatever you're using, and you'll excavate whatever's underneath that X. But there is a pretty harsh time limit. I think it's like 1 minute or something like that. And they're scattered all over the place. So you kind of have to like the mini game or the thing that you're doing is gauging how far can you go and in what order can you hit those X's to get all of them and get back to the hovercraft
make it back in time? Yeah.
Yeah. Because sometimes you'll be like, there's just too far away. You just can't get that one. You need to know better to go for it.
The reason for the timeline too is mentioned here, like the in-universe reason is staying out under the scorching desert sun for too long can be dangerous. As soon as you've found what you're looking for, head back to the hover before the time limit in the bottom right corner reaches 0.
Right.
We got different dress spheres we can switch over to. We got big hats.
It also says Pickett will warn you if you stray too far from the hover, which no the fuck he doesn't. He does technically, but he waits until the fucking 10-second mark when he's just get back to the hover. It's like, I do not have the amount of time. Like, that's not a warning.
It's
he gave me that, but I think if you go too far outside like the expanse, like limits, maybe he might tell you like, hey, you're out of bounds or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I did get back to the hover this time with 1 second left. I was like, oh my God.
I made it back to the hover with 0 seconds left, like as I was getting it, and I did it correctly.
That's how you get the
but task failed successfully because the first time I got this game, luckily I just saved. I learned my lesson in Macalania, I can tell you that much. But the first time I got to the game, there was no yellow X. Like, I went in a direction that did not have the yellow X. I didn't even realize I was looking for that. I was like, oh, I guess for the first one, you don't have a required part that you need, even though the game literally just told me 2 seconds ago that the objective was to get the required things. I was like, this is just like this is practice. Next round is playoff. So I wasn't like going, like, I wasn't prioritizing. I just went to the 2 closest to me, and like I got an Albed primer, which was nice. And then I got an ambush, and then I was like running around and trying to find it. I only saw white X's. Made it back, and I was like, cool. And then like Nadala was like fucking yelling at me after I had successfully gotten back to the hover before dying of heat stroke, and she was like, you fucked up, you fucking suck, you didn't do what I asked you. And I was like, I just got here, what are you talking about? It's my first day.
It's my first day. Yeah.
You're ugly, I hate you, give me $200.
Yeah, exactly. No, that was a Waka who said that, I think.
So yeah,
oh yeah, it starts out Riku's like, okay, we get it, we're really sorry. And she's like, never turn your back on the desert. And Yuna's like, Nadala, we're really sorry, really. And then it says, well, it's been fun is the option that you can say, or give us one more chance. And I just said, well, it's been fun, I think. And it just says like total digs 1, successful digs 0, failed digs 1 in red. And I was like, fuck. And then I just quit out of the game and reloaded because I was like, the 100% guide told me to do this game exactly once or lock myself out of 100%. So I cannot fail this. I have to just start over.
Which, like, just FYI, you can do the dig multiple times. You just don't want to do it too much. Because I think I may have said this last time. I can't remember if I said it on the podcast or afterwards.
There was like rewards that we like cutscenes that we'll miss out on it or something like that.
Yeah. So basically the things that we're digging up are building something, and we need to go see that thing that we're building in multiple stages.
Another Gundam for pain. Hell yeah.
I mean, sort of.
Yes.
but not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's these interesting items, like found a helm coin and what is this, attack assembly A and things like that.
The helm coin, we'll get to the helm coin. That's an entirely different thing.
I forget what I found. I found some cool shit which I don't even remember. Yeah, I got defense assembly A was the required part.
The assemblies are the things that we're talking about. Yeah, so I think there's like, are there 25 assemblies, 15 assemblies, something like that. But depending on how many you have, the thing that those are actually assembling will be in different stages of completion, and you need to see the thing in multiple stages of completion to get 100%.
God, that's so fucking stupid.
It's ridiculous.
Fix your game, Nomura.
So really, you just want to get one assembly, call it a day, and then roll.
Nice. I wonder, so would you be able to just not go for the the yellow X's and keep getting like primers and shit, or
Yeah, I guess you could do that.
well, yes, is like I feel like we don't know, so don't take our word for it. If it locks you out of 100%, it's your own fault.
So we technically could just fail a mission a dig over and over again, but still like reap in just stuff that.
As long as you get to keep the rewards at the end.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it works.
And if it was a primer, I mean, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Take the knowledge directly out of your mind?
Yeah, take the knowledge out of your mind and also the knowledge that they already intrinsically have. Although
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
they could reverse engineer it and it could be a primer for Spira language.
So if you only do white X's, I wonder if that will count.
Yeah, I'll definitely want to do some research on that just because I'm fucking terrified of not... I don't even know
You'll
if
be
I'm
fine,
on
you'll be
track
fine.
for
If you-
100%, but...
If you didn't get like 5 assemblies or some shit, you're okay.
Okay,
Like,
cool.
it's fine.
I do have a cool, really good screenshot here as well, which is after a battle at some point, I got like a cinematic view of like the victory where it just zoomed in on Yuna and she had her eyes open and then she like very cutely like tilted her head.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you
Like,
both got
that's
it.
the same exact one.
In the desert, both of you.
Did she say signed, sealed, and delivered?
Maybe.
It's just, it's signed, sealed, delivered. I took a couple videos of Yuna saying, or I was like, oh, I like how they characterize Yuna as a nerd and a weeb in this game because everybody's like, all right, ass kicking time, and then Yuna will be like, ganbarimasu, and I'm like, I love you.
She's the
Yuna's
best.
great.
At one point when I was gun mage with Riku, she said one of my favorite lines in any video game ever, which she like, I was just attacking with her and she just goes, eat, not lead, and shoots because she's shooting magic out of it or whatever. I was like, that is
That's so good.
fucking funny. I love all of the I just want to rip all of like everyone's dialogue in the various like there's so much of it and it's all
There are
probably
two
this is
YouTube videos worth of just battle dialogue, and they're both like fucking
Oh,
like
I can't
an
wait to
hour
listen
long.
to it. No,
It's
that seems
incredible.
so worth it. That's a good use of an hour. I'm gonna play that shit in half speed and make that shit 2 hours long. That's how worth it is.
I'll send
It's
you
so
the
good.
folder, Carl, if you want to like pick any for like sound alerts or something.
Oh, goddamn right I do. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, just make like a random point redeem or something of like just it randomly pulls one. That's amazing. But yeah, this is like, we're eating good this season. Last season, all we had was Choco Bro Dude skis, and now we got fucking, or I guess that wasn't last season, that was 2 seasons ago. Just Final Fantasy 2 erasure, dude. Like, I'm just not
The
even.
2D
I'm
games
like,
are like a blip.
yeah, I'm just like, that was last season. The season before that was Final Fantasy 10.
Well, this time last year was definitely 13.
Yeah, true, yeah.
Oh, because you did the Christmas episode.
Oh,
about
yeah.
the-
Yeah. Maybe another this year. We'll see. Is there any Final Fantasy 10-2 specific shit I should read?
Maybe.
I don't
I'll
know.
look into it.
We will see. If that sounds good to you, let me know in the Discord. If it sounds bad to you, also let me know in the Discord. I don't care. It's a lot of work, and I'm fine with either option.
You can read from the Final Fantasy 15 manga, I think.
Nah.
15's weird, man. We'll get to that.
I know there's an epilogue like that's part of 2.5 is a novel sequel written by, so I wonder if there's an English version, but we'd have to finish the game first.
True.
Yeah.
We'll finish it by Christmas.
En route to finishing the game, after we get the assembly part successfully, we're taken back to the desert camp where Nautil is like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you found the part," and Riku's like, "Yeah, what did you expect? Sending
Just
us
what
out
I
there?"
needed.
Just what I needed. I needed somewhat to feed. Anyway, yeah. So we give her the assembly part. She thanks us, and we get 100 gil and a Still of the Night garment grid.
Yeah.
Garment.
My favorite
Garment.
Cyndi Lauper song that she covered, I think. Was All Through the Night the one that she covered? No, I Drove All Night.
Still
is
of
the
the
cover.
Night is Def Leppard.
All Through the Night is a Cyndi Lauper original, maybe? I always mix
maybe.
those up.
In the Still of the Night. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, if you equipped Still of the Night, you are able to use Silence and Bind, and by moving around the garment grid, you get like the proofs, like Silence proof, Bind proof, etc.
Yo, nice, cool.
So
Yeah, also, did we say that we get an elixir as well?
did I get an elixir? Oh, I did get an elixir. You're right.
I was like,
Correct.
oh, maybe it's like a time-based thing or something. But yeah, I just remember her being like, oh, you're good. Like, but but don't get a big head about it. And then it was like, here's your reward. And it's like, you scored a 100 gil reward. I'm like, that's a shitty fucking reward. And then she's like, here's a garment grid. I'm like, okay, I retract that it was a shitty reward.
Yeah, because I was thinking the same thing. I was like 100 gil, and once
I
you're
literally
done with
found
that scene,
200 gil in the game that I failed. Like, it was like I dug up 200 gil, and she's like, here's your reward. Here's your $2.
once you leave and you get back to the Celsius, if you talk to Riku, she's like, yo, let's go do it again and rake in some serious pocket change. And I was like, we got 100 gil,
We got,
Riku.
100 gil? Like, that's,
What are you talking about?
if you talk to Pain, more importantly, she says one of my favorite lines that I've read so far in this game.
It's so
when she
good.
says,
It's so good.
Yuna, look at me. You do remember that we're sphere hunters, right? It's like, stop it with all this fucking psycho. It's like, Pain, I'm trying to get 100%.
Yeah, I know.
I need to find my ghost boyfriend or whatever. Like, you don't understand. How could you understand?
I saw him on TikTok. We have to go.
Yeah.
There was a Nightcore version of Sutakei Dane playing. It was beautiful.
So that's the end of Beacon
The
L
game,
Vincent
we
for
did
now.
it. Next
We
season,
did
Final Fantasy 8,
100%,
baby.
baby.
Let's go.
So the next place that I went anyway was Bevel, right?
Evil.
So we're heading next. Bevel.
I did not go there yet, but please feel free to talk about
What'd
it.
you do?
That was the last that I did. I had also accidentally walked into the Calmlands and got immediately really discouraged and ran away.
I see. Should we go ahead and talk about him?
Yeah, we can
Alright.
talk about them.
Okay. Then I will I can do this as like story time mode then and be like, Carl, let me tell you the story of what happens when you go back to Bevel and you meet another hot guy.
Curtis's time in Bevel. Oh, there's a hot guy there? Hang on, I'm gonna
There's
just play
another
it right
hot
now.
guy. So
Fuck yes.
we get like
Love
you know how
those.
like Gipple is the hot guy of the Albed. We get the
course.
hot guy of New Yevon.
Oh, boy.
Shit. I hate
Yeah.
those guys though, but I do
I
like
hate
hot
those guys, I know.
I'm
But
torn
and he's
here.
like, here's the thing. With me, he's on thin ice. He's on thin ice, right? Because we'll talk more about it when we get into his actual dialogue.
What's
this
his
dude
name?
comes out and he's like,
I'm gonna
Barrel-Eye is
I'm
gonna be
gonna
his
get
name.
my Google search ready here. Rule 34. What's his name? Final Fantasy 10 too.
I did search Sid Final Fantasy X-2 image search, and it just had to let me know that safe search was turned on.
Wait, what's this dude's name
I
for
was
real?
like, I didn't ask.
Barrel-Eye, Barali or LAI. So this guy, thin ice with me on this guy. Okay, here's the thing. He's not the worst because he comes out and he's like, you know, he's obviously the New Yevon guy. He's a little conservative, right? He's a little bit a traditional. He's a little bit of a trad. Boo. And then he's like, yeah, now we run everything by like democratic consensus and like it's a union. And I'm like, yay. And so I'm like, very weird that he's combining these two like political ideologies together. And I don't know how to feel about it, but whatever. Anyway,
We shall
regardless,
see, I guess.
we touch down in Bevel. We get some opening narration from Yuna where she says, this is the place that I was born, but I don't have fond memories of it.
Is this a unique screen? I don't know if we've seen it from this angle before.
This is where we fought Seymour.
I know, but like I remember the door, but just like
Yeah,
this
one of the
particular
100
angle.
times, so it's easy to forget.
This angle looks very unique because when we first approached Bevel in like in 10, like we're just on the walkway up. I've never seen like an overhead shot of it in engine before.
Oh, yeah. We're on the, I mean, we fight Seymour on the walkway, and I think we also fight him in front of the door too when we're leaving.
Mhm.
So we see both of these areas, but from this angle, I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm just
but
pulled
either
up.
way, though, we Yuna does a little bit of voiceover where she says she was born here. She doesn't have fond memories of it though, and is not really looking forward to visiting it again, right? But we start into the area. We can walk up to those front doors, and they let us in because they're like, "Oh my God, it's Yuna, the High Summoner. She's come back to us." Like they're very quickly.
We can take a jet ski over, can't we?
We can take a jet ski.
Yo,
we get on a
hell
fucking
yeah.
Sea-Doo and
Wave
get
Ray
over
60.
there.
Whoa! I just noticed something in this playthrough video that Alex sent. On the Celsius, I didn't realize this. You can do the jump mechanic of holding down like the B button or the A button or whatever.
Yeah, over the little
And jump
thing.
over the fucking thing instead of going down
The
the
railing?
stairs like an asshole like I've been doing
Yep,
this
yep.
entire fucking 10 hours of my playthrough so far. So I'm never doing that again.
Yeah,
Stairs are for suckers.
ABJ always be jumping. But yeah, you can, in fact, instead of walking down the bridge, you can take a Sea-Doo down the bridge and get to the other end real quick. Very handy. I think, did somebody say Wave Race 64?
I did, yes.
Yeah, very much so.
Why didn't they put that as a mini game in here? Come on.
I know. But yeah, so like the guardsmen and the like priests outside, they assume since that Yuna's here again, she is coming back to Yevon. Like that's why she's here. And so they're like,
That's the only
"Oh my
reason
god,
you'd be
you've
coming
come back
your
to us."
hometown.
Yeah. So they're like, "Oh my god, you come back to us. You're rejoining Yevon. I'll go get the Praetor. You just wait right here." And they run off, right? And the Yuna's kind of like, "Hey, we should go. We should like leave while they're
Fuck this
gone."
town,
Like,
dude.
yeah, fuck this.
Her pop punk jeans are flaring up. She's like ready to say "fuck this town,"
That's right.
and she's gone.
And the other two are kind of like, "Oh, well, don't you want to know? Like, don't you want to see what they have to say? Like, aren't you curious?" And she's like, "Nah, this sucks. Actually, one of the reasons I want to leave is she doesn't really like elucidate it very much, but she says, at one point in my life, there was this arrangement between me and another guy that I turned down and left, so it's not
shit.
a deal anymore, but something was going on. Anyway, I don't want to talk about it. Let's leave." And immediately, like, Riku's like, "I'm sorry, what now?" Like, she's like, "Oh, you want to like get a little bit more into that, please?"
Yeah, I
Like,
need to hear some more of that.
yeah. She's like real
Seems
nosy about
important.
it. But before they can leave, the Praetor, like the new lead of New Yevon, comes out, right? And he's another hunky boy. It's
Yes,
hunky young
dude.
boy named Barreleye,
Oh yeah.
who
I love that this is just sounding more and more like a Rumiko Takahashi fucking story at this point. Like just like so many hunky boys vying for
yeah,
Yuna's
it's very
affection.
much that. Yeah, it's very much that.
I like his outfit.
I love it, dude. I fucking love it.
He's got that like pomp up front on his hair.
Oh yeah, it's real tan. He's got a headband.
Yep.
He's got a
He's kinda
real
got, like,
nice color of his
A
hair.
little bit of that like Waka gelled up hair. The
Yeah,
real tall
yeah.
guy in
little
front.
Zell, Final
A
Fantasy.
little bit of Zell.
Little
That's right.
Groose from fucking the worst Zelda game.
But yeah, so that's Barreleye. He comes out and he basically is like, "Hey, the person who you were gonna meet with," or basically like Yuna's like, "Are you the Praetor? I thought there was like another Praetor," and he was like, "No. The original Praetor had to be asked to leave. He was like taking a bunch of power for himself, and he was like consolidating people, and we were like, no, we're not doing that anymore. Now we're a good socialist trad group question mark. Now we're both incredibly conservative and also we believe in religious communism." Very weird.
Sounds like a historically winning combination.
Yeah, right.
I love that he just kind of just seemed like a very disagreement. Like, oh, they were taking too much power, so we had to ask them to leave. Like, excuse me, sir, you need
We had
to
to
leave.
politely ask them to cede all of their power over to me, actually. So it
Well,
was fine.
you know what?
Don't
And
worry.
the thing was, I
Everyone's
wasn't
chill about
exactly
it.
sure.
It's fine.
I wasn't sure how to read that either. I was like, does he mean that they killed him? Like what does he mean? Like,
They threw him
he's
in
like,
the
yeah, they were
fucking-
like,
Exiled.
What was
Yeah,
the name of the place
exiled,
with the
yeah.
fucking monster that they threw Yuna in? The Purifico or whatever?
yeah, Via Purifico.
The Via Purifico? Yeah. He's just swimming
yeah.
around with fucking, what the fuck was that boss's name? I don't remember.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
Big fish.
Yeah, exactly.
So he comes out, and then he also says, like, I guess he like can see that Yuna is nervous, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, the Praetor's son also left with him. I'm not the guy that you were going to be like engaged to marry, so please don't sweat it." I guess like I think he can like kind of sense that she's like, "Oh, I'm not enjoying
He's like,
being here." He's like, "Hey, that's not me."
unless-
Just FYI. Yeah, unless I am a hunky boy with no strings attached. So
Yeah, he pokes both of his index fingers together while he has like a gun hand going, and he just says,
yeah,
like,
he says, "Ooh,
"Notice me,
peeing."
Grand Summoner, Lady Summoner."
Former grandson.
he's like pretty understanding, where he's like, "Yeah, I understand that you might not be like super into Yevon now, but we are changing everything. We're trying to change it for the better, and we would really appreciate your help. But like, you're not obligated to do so, right? Like definitely do
that's
come join
nice.
us, but you don't have to. So like, pressure off, right?
We won't
And then
kill
he's
you
kinda
like I killed my predecessor. I mean, you don't have to do it. If you
Have
don't
you
Right.
heard the tragedy?
But then he says like, "Oh, I have a lot of things that I need to do. A lot of stuff requires my attention, so I do have to leave. But If you find any spheres of Spira's history, do let us know. And then he walks away. And as he's walking away, we get a camera angle showing that Pain is standing off, like she's not talking to him. She's not paying attention to him, and she's standing off in the balcony and intentionally has her back turned to him the whole time.
It's probably
right?
nothing.
It's probably nothing, yeah.
Pay no attention to their similar hair.
Yeah, pay no attention to their similar hair. The fact that every hunky boy we come across, Pain seems to have some weird history with or whatever. Like, don't worry about it. It's nothing. But we are meant to see that like,
Yeah.
she is intentionally not talking to him.
Yeah, because she's cool.
Because she's fucking cool. She does not talk to men, based.
Yeah, exactly. She fucking rocks.
And she says, like, okay, I've heard enough. What now? And then we get back to the Celsius. Now, you said, Carl, that you did go to the Calmlands.
Accidentally, when I was fucking chasing a Waka or some fucking bull, I was looking for Trommel or one of the goddamn musicians or whatever. And
okay, I think we can do the entrance to the Calmlands. There's not a lot going on in the Calmlands.
There's enough of it to ruin my fucking time.
Yeah. There's like, like 5 minutes of content and enough content in those 5 minutes that Final Fantasy X-2 from this point on sucks. So
we accidentally fucking go from Makaladia Woods immediately into the Calmlands because we forget how directions work. And Yuna's narrator says, the Calmlands. Many summoners used to cross these plains with their hearts heavy with the weight of their pilgrimage. I was no different. But we also see like establishing shots of like everything. We see a treasure chest like off to the side where we probably had to get a fucking annoying celestial weapon at one point many years ago.
I think it was Titus's,
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little
Chocobo
like
game.
ramp.
Titus.
But the Calmlands we knew have changed. And then we see like a pack of like a bunch of different variants of, I guess like the Hellhound or whatever that we fought in the desert running around.
They're racing.
Yeah.
It just feel like there's like Olympics like style music playing right now.
Yeah.
But then we see our party kind of just walking around and Yuna's looking over like the precipice to the Calmlands and she just says, ooh, I love these games. And I was just like, oh no.
Oh no.
Games in the Calmland, get me the fuck out of here. And then Payne says, I have 100 Argent credits.
I have
Enrique
100
says,
Caesar's Legions dollars.
I have 100 open air credits. And
I have
just like,
I have 100 of the New Republic of California credits.
Oh, I stand corrected. It doesn't sound like Olympics music. It sounds like Wii golf music.
yo, fuck yes. You're reeling me back in because that shit was the best. Open air what? Well, and then we get a little tutorial thing. Playtime.
You gotta get on the ground floor, Una. This is new thing's gonna take off.
I'm sorry, here we go. I have 100 NCR dollars.
Yeah, I've got 400 Dogecoin. I've got 300 Square Enix NFTs. Playtime in the Calmlands. Attractions are scattered throughout the Calmlands. Talk to the attendants to play. You need credits to enter the attraction. You can purchase them from any attendant or win them if you're good enough.
So this is a carnival
rivals.
now.
Each attraction has 2 attendants. They represent 2 competing companies. I really don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
So, let's talk about the fucking elephant in the open air room.
Shoot buff.
If you go up to any of the events, right, and you can choose to play them, you can do like the fucking dog racing or whatever. But you also have an option that's called publicity campaign.
Oh god,
and this
I
is
see
the
mention
thing
of
that
this place is fuck.
This drives me insane because from now on I'm gonna have to like play this game with 2 guides open at once. And the reason being, the publicity campaign is there are these 2 competing companies in the Calmlands. There's Argent and there's Open Air, right? And they're both like trying to like become the big company there and kind of edge out the other one, right? And to do so, they want you to help with their publicity. What that means is every fucking NPC in the game, I swear to God, but not all of them, but most of them, you can now press square on, like you were going to try to play triple triad with them or something.
No.
Enlist them to our blitzball team.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
God.
yeah. And you get one of 5 options. And every NPC in the game has an option that they like where you can be like, come to open air. And they'll be like, oh, that's very convincing to me. I'm incredibly convinced. And then a number goes up for that publicity for that company.
TV ratings.
Or you'll be like, open air kicks ass. And they'll be like, well, I don't like that marketing. And so you'll only get like +1 or +0, right? And so it didn't work. But you can only ask people one time. And there's not enough.
It's fucking LA Noire now, but fucking boring. More boring than that fucking boring ass game, which I couldn't. I was not developed for me, and I didn't like it.
And the worst part is, there's not enough of them in any one chapter to complete the publicity quest in one go. So you need to do it every chapter. So every chapter, you need to talk to every NPC and answer the right questions for them to be able to do it, to get 100%, because you actually need it to get the mission complete in chapter 5 for the fucking Calmlands. And so the only way to do that is to have a fucking guide open showing which of the answers sound good to every NPC in every chapter. And it's like pages and pages long.
What were they thinking, dude?
What were they thinking? Now, I'm going to talk more about this in just a moment. And I know that was just a big bombshell, and we all have like things that we want to talk about this. However, put a pin in it just for a second.
No.
Just put a pin in it for a
Pins,
second.
dear reader, are stacking.
because if you talk to any of the games, you also have the option to ride the hover. And one of the places you can ride the hover to is the travel agency, because you might remember there's a travel agency right in the middle of the Calmlands, just like there was in the first game, right?
One of the most visited places in any Final Fantasy X playthrough if you're doing
That's
post-game
absolutely
shit.
right.
The
but if
most
you go there
used
this
save sphere
time,
in all of Spira.
yeah. If you go there this time, though, the guy who's running the item shop is like, hey, do you want to marry my son? And then, you can say like yes or no. And if you say yes, he's like, nah, it doesn't seem like a good fit. And if you say no, he's like, yeah, I don't fucking blame you. However, will you help me find a wife for my son? And you have to say yes.
All right, you're reeling me back in.
Which opens a second publicity campaign, which means every time that you talk to somebody using Square, not only do you get the 5 options to ask them about the publicity thing, you have to do another menu first that says, do you want to do publicity campaign, or do you want to do the thing where you try to get a marriage for somebody? And it also has 5 options, and every fucking NPC in the goddamn game can like select from. And you need to get them all right. So in chapter 5, you actually see the end of the mission where you get a fucking thing. So actually, you need 3 guides open. Except, thank God, most guides combine those 2 things into one, so you just do it at once. But like, that means every time we go anywhere to experience anything, every NPC we need to stop at and press square twice to do the publicity campaign and then do the marriage campaign.
So yeah, it's a pretty sad episode because it is actually my last episode with the podcast. It's been a really good run. Thank you so much to everyone who's listening, but I can't do this shit. Is what I would say if I had any fucking integrity, but I don't, so I'm gonna do all this fucking bullshit even though I hate it.
I'm not. I'm just gonna read what the guide says.
Well, and that's the thing. Just do what the guide says, but
I'm not
like,
gonna do it. I'm
it
just gonna
still
read it.
takes so much fucking time, though.
Yeah, so wait, Alex, you're just like giving up on 100% and not doing it at all, you mean?
I haven't been doing 100%.
Yo, you're
Oh,
the
okay,
fucking, again, proving that you're the best one on the
An
podcast.
absolute king.
Easily.
Completion's just a number, baby.
Completion is
True.
just a number. However, when you get to chapter 5, you will miss out on a lot of cutscenes. So we'll just have to read them to you.
Yeah, but that's what
You can watch them on
YouTube's for,
YouTube.
goddammit.
That's true. That's true.
Alex's
That's true.
homework is instead of pushing multiple buttons to get to the cutscene, he can click one button and get the cutscene.
We're gonna get to like the end of like the game where like we're doing the Macalania cutscenes, right? And they'll be like, "Oh my god, you've saved the woods somehow." And then when Alex plays it, it'll be like, "You forgot to talk to one person one time that nothing of value
All of
happened."
the Guado are
so
dead,
all
and
the
several
Guado
of the
are dead.
Hypello now, you fucking asshole.
Yeah, that's right.
God, this game
Like, Alex,
rules.
you heartless bastard.
I love this game.
Nothing's even happened yet.
I think, okay.
Nothing's even happened yet. It doesn't make sense that you could miss 100%. You're right. This game does rule. It's good, actually.
Generous read of the baffling design decisions here. I'm gonna I'm gonna defend them a little bit. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Everyone's favorite thing in the world is when a white cis het guy plays devil's advocate. So that's what I'm gonna do.
My favorite pinball game.
Here. That would probably have such good music in it. Like
another good deep Simpsons cut. Marge, if I may play devil's advocate, by all means.
That's right.
He goes to the Quickie Mart and plays a pinball game
So the
called
developers
Devil's Advocate.
The developers knew what kind of fucking raw power they had with this game, with all of the elements that they were putting in there, and they were like, this game is too fucking fresh. It's smoked too hard. It's swag too fresh or whatever. Like, we cannot release this game in the state that it's in because it's the best game of all time. We have to do something that makes it fucking terrible to balance it out to where it's just one of the best games of all time. So let's add this publicity thing in. That way, we don't just ruin the video game economy by making the single greatest game of all time.
It's the only thing that makes sense. So yeah, that's the Calmlands. And also, that's the rest of the fucking game, too. Oh, my God.
So look forward to that, dear listener.
Yeah, on the podcast, we're going to give every answer to every single NPC every episode. So every single episode, we'll just start
Option
out with,
one.
Yeah.
Do you think Calculon should go on an exciting action chase scene? Or do you think that Calculon should stay home and file his taxes? You have selected file his taxes. No, I didn't. I'm almost positive you did. Fucking goddamn it.
Yeah, like some podcasts at the end of like the episode, they'll do like a Patreon read where they're like, special thanks too. And we'll just do like something like that at the end. And we'll be like, this NPC wants to hear, welcome to Open Air. This NPC would like to hear.
Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me
right.
from such dialogue prompts as, will you marry my son? Or, Open Air's the way to go.
Final Fantasy X-2.
Final Fantasy X-2. What a game.
What a game. All right, what are we doing next episode?
I do legitimately want to defend them and say that it's cool as hell that they were like, yeah, you know what? Fuck the fans. They want Titus back. They got to fucking earn it by filing their taxes. Never before has our buddy Robbie been more vindicated by saying that Final Fantasy games to him feel like just doing your taxes simulator.
So next time it looks like we're going to have some actual gameplay and story to get through. So I'm not sure exactly how far we'll go. The only non-hotspot left is Mount Gagazet, but after that, we can go to Besaid Island and Zanarkand and all these other places and actually start like knocking out real plot. So that's coming up. Seeing
some familiar faces, perhaps. Notable ones, and not just like that guy that we met in the fucking right before we fought the Chocobo Eater.
Right. So look forward to that. We can finally get some real stuff done. We finally get a little bit of a spoiler. We finally get a very important dress sphere that we really need and we'll finally have for the rest of the game. So that will be good.
Nice.
Yeah. So if you're playing along with us, I would.
Why?
Yeah, why?
Why? Just listen to us. We're the dipshits here.
I would get to the end of Zanarkand. That's probably as far as we'll get. We'll probably get to the end of Zanarkand. I think.
Monkey.
Yeah. God, I can't imagine we're going to do that and Kilika. Because Kilika is kind of like the last stop in Chapter 1.
Okay. So, quick itinerary, because my brain is stupid and I already forgot. Step 1. Stop 1.
Gagazet. For
Stop
you, it
2.
will be Bavel.
Well, yes, thank you. I
forgot.
I'm just looking at the guide.
Step 1, Gagazet. Step 2, Besaid. Step 3, Zanarkand. If you're feeling real foxy, you could go for Kilika, but that will probably
How
be
many
on the
hot
next
boys
episode.
are at Kilika? How many hot dudes?
You know what? Not many hot dudes at Kilika, but there is a hot dog that will show back up.
I was just noticing there was like no cats or dogs in Luca this time.
It's fucked up. They're all dead.
Interesting. If
Well,
true.
now that the faith is gone.
Yeah. Cool. Sounds
All
good
right.
to me.
Yeah, that is.
Maybe they were part of the Guado.
Well, Alex, will you marry my son?
Yes, and wait, no. For 100% no. Thank you all for listening. Thank you to Noriko Matsuda and Takahito Iguchi for the music. Be sure to rate and review and subscribe wherever you listen to us. And you can find us at EveryFNFF on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, and or YouTube. And hop into our Discord. And the podcast will soon be no more.
Ominous.
Honestly, maybe because of this fucking publicity bullshit.
Dude. I know.
I'm doing more publicity in this fucking game than I've done publicizing
For
a
our
fucking
actual-
podcast. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just don't, oh my God.
Is that how you get more listeners on a podcast? You just
We
have to
have
like, go
guests
Yeah,
on
something.
and ask
I
them
need
if
to stop
they'll
at
marry our
every
son.
fucking person in line trying to get cigarettes and lottery tickets at Wawa, and I gotta be like, you need to listen to my podcast.
And then it'll say like, oh,
There's
they didn't
two
like that
options. You
very
can
much.
listen,
And you're like, fuck.
and I'm like, fuck, I meant to tell them about daycare dittos, not my fucking dumbass shit.
But they did agree to marry your son, so
Well, there's always that.
It
That's
wasn't
always
all
a plus.
bad.
Anyway,
Yeah,
thanks,
sorry.
everyone. See you
Thanks.
next time.
Bye.